Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Jill and today I'm going to be doing my top books that I read in 2015. 2015 is almost over, guys, or it probably is by the time I'm uploading this, and that's absolutely insane. Before I get into the top books that I read this year, not that have been published, but I have read this year, I just wanted to say that I've read exactly 100 books this year, and that is pretty insane. I ended up reading about 38,000 pages, and my goal for the year was 70, and I made it to exactly 100, which is insane beyond belief. So 2015 had lots of really good books and a lot of not so good books as well. I'm going to be doing another video on my most disappointing reads of 2015, but today is going to be my favorite books that I've read in 2015. I ended up just going to my bookshelf and picking out my favorites, so I ended up with 14, which is a little weird. It's one shy of the 15 books I read in 2015, but I didn't want to pick another one, so these are my 14 favorites of the year that I read. So these are in no particular order, but the first one that I have is In the Afterlight by Alex Bracken. This is the third book in her Darkest Mind series, and I absolutely adore the Darkest Mind series. It's one of my favorite series of all time. It's absolutely fantastic. If you don't know, this is a dystopian about a world where lots of the kids have died. I think 98% of them have died from this disease, and the ones that are left actually have developed superpowers, kind of. They have different powers and they rank them based on the dangerousness of their power. So there's 5 different colors, and Ruby, who's the main character in this book, is definitely a dangerous one. She's an orange, which is almost the most dangerous one. So she ends up going to a concentration camp and breaking out of that concentration camp and meeting a crew that I love so much. This book has crew goals, absolutely amazing. So this is the third book in that series. It's really great. Darkest Minds. Favorite is Harry Potter. This is the illustrated edition of the Sorcerer's Stone, which I just got for Christmas. So yes, I have read Harry Potter before, but I'm rereading them and I felt like I had to mention it because I'm currently on book 4. I started reading all the books again this December and they were just so magical that I felt like I had to include them in my top books that I've read. Definitely just the whole series is great. If you don't know what Harry Potter is, you should. If you haven't read it yet, go read it because December and January and the winter time are perfect times to read it, and this illustrated edition is so beautiful, honestly beautiful. The book I have is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I absolutely adored this book. It's about fairies and it's a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and the main girl's name is Feyre and she's awesome. She's so kick-ass, and it's Sarah J. Maas. She wrote the Throne of Glass series, so obviously it's gonna be great. The next book I have is Isla and the Happily Ever After by Stephanie Perkins. So Isla and the Happily Ever After is my favorite Stephanie Perkins book out of her 3 companion novel series. I know that is a very unpopular opinion, but I personally love this one the absolute best. It's about this girl named Isla, who, if you've read Anna and the French Kiss, she's a side character from that, and it follows also a boy named Josh, also a character from Anna and the French Kiss, and they end up getting together, and it's so beautiful and it's cute, and all the characters from the previous book show up in this one because it's the last one, and it's honestly great. If you haven't read Stephanie Perkins, she is a magical woman. The next book I have is Ensnared by A.G. Howard. This book is the 3rd book in the Splintered trilogy, and it was fantastic. If you don't know what Splintered is about, it's a retelling of Alice in Wonderland, and it's really creepy and it's amazing, and the guys in these books are so swoon-worthy. They are absolutely fantastic. So there's Morpheus, Alyssa, and Jeb, and I'm not really going to say much about it because I think you should go into it completely blind, but I have not heard a lot of people talking about this series, and I definitely think that it deserves the hype it does. A little disclaimer though, if you don't enjoy love triangles at all, if you hate them, then I would say maybe go away from this book because it is very love triangle heavy, but I think it's very well done. Next book I have is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Obviously, everyone knows what this book is. It's about a girl named Selena, and she's an assassin, and this is the first book in the series. Honestly, the whole series is great. I'm only on Crown of Midnight. I've read Assassin's Blade, Throne of Glass, and Crown of Midnight. I haven't moved on yet because I wanted to pace myself, but yeah, Throne of Glass definitely made my list. Next book I have is Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor. This is the third book in her Daughter Smoke and Bone series. If you don't know what it's about, it's very complicated, and I'm not going to attempt to explain it, but it has angels and demons, and it's honestly great. This one is a huge book. It's the conclusion, and this book was just everything I've ever wanted in my entire life. It's honestly flipping-tastic. It's an amazing fantasy. If you love fantasy, give this one a try because it's definitely worth it. Next book I have is actually a classic I read from school, and that is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I just got this beautiful red designed one for Christmas from my grandma, and so Pride and Prejudice, obviously everyone knows what this book is about. It's about England and Elizabeth and Darcy, and I love Mr. Darcy more than anything. I actually have a quote card on my wall over there. But yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite books that I've read so far in school, and I had to mention it. My next favorite is Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. I actually have a review of this book, so you should definitely go check that out. So this book is kind of complicated to explain, but it's connected to Rainbow Rowell's Fangirl. And if you don't know, in Fangirl, it follows a girl named Kath, and she writes fan fiction for that world's Harry Potter series. So this is Rainbow Rowell's take on that fanfiction and Fangirl, and I absolutely loved all the characters. My favorite character is Boz. Boz is amazing. He's a vampire, he's sassy, he's sarcastic, so just read this book for Boz because he takes the show for sure. My next favorite is The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh, and I actually got to Skype with this author for one of my book club things, so I got to talk to her a little bit, and she's super sweet. This book is a retelling of Arabian Nights or 1001 Nights, and it follows this girl named Shahrazad and Khalid, and Khalid is the prince, and he takes brides every night and kills them, and once Shahrazad's best friend gets taken and killed, she swears revenge on her behalf. And this book is just really great. It's amazing. Renee Ahdieh is absolutely a fantastic writer. She knows her stuff, and it was a thrilling, mystical read, and definitely give it a try. The next book I have is the most recent one that I read, and that is Missborne by Brandon Sanderson. I read this book, like I said, I just finished it like 2 days ago, and it was so freaking fantastic. I really don't have any words still to describe this book. It's honestly amazing. If you like epic fantasy, this is definitely epic fantasy. It's really way too hard to explain. It's really complicated, but if you like epic fantasy, definitely give this a try. Brandon Sanderson is an absolute wizard, and it's really great. So read it if you haven't. The next favorite I have is Ignite Me by Tahira Mafi. So this is the final book in her Shatter Me series, and if you don't know, Shatter Me is about this girl named Juliet whose touch isn't deadly, and she's in a rehabilitation camp, and then she breaks out, and there's cute guys and a love triangle that just made me so angry. The character development of the main character Juliet is phenomenal. It's one of the best character developments that I've ever read about. It's honestly great. And the boys, and Warner needs my heart. Oh. So we're almost done. This is my second to last book, and that is Eleanor Park by Rainbow Rowell. This has been a really Rainbow Rowell year, if you could tell. This book is great. It's about this girl named Eleanor and this guy named Park, and they're both kind of misfits. They don't really fit in. And then they find each other and they bond over music and the 80s, and it's just so cute, and I just loved it. I just loved it so much. And the final book that I have on my best books of 2015 is Dorothy Must Die by Daniel Page. This book, the cover might be a little frightening. I remember before I picked this up, I was not going to pick it up at all. I was not interested in it at all. I thought that it looked really weird. I thought it was really goth, whatever. But It is a retelling of The Wizard of Oz, and it follows this girl named, Amy Gum, and she has a quest to kill Dorothy because Dorothy has become corrupted. And this series is honestly fantastic. Daniel Page knows how to write. It's such a grasping read, and I just really, really, really loved it so much. So there we go. Those were my favorite books that I read in 2015. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Subscribe, like, comment, of course, as always. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Happy 2016!